السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته، أهلا بكم في فيديو جديد أيضا على موضوع الخزانات، لكنه اليوم على تشغيل خزانات. Welcome everyone. Today our video about the storage tank operation. First, I have to start with the type of tanks and the oil production and refinery, and oil production and refinery. We have about 4 or 5 type of according to the product which is used. So we have raw material tank, which is always crude oil, and we have intermediate product tanks in refinery. This is because there is unfinished product. Yani after distillation unit there is product, but it is not final product. We send to another process. It is called intermediate product tanks, and also product stock tank. This is the final product for uses or for export. And there is a slop tank for off specification product during shutdown or startup or any emergency case. And there is also utility like boiler feed water or other also, and chemical tank, chemical which is used to inject to assist the operation. First step is oil storage tank commissioning. Is the systematic process of testing, cleaning, and verifying a new constructed tank to ensure it is safe, leak-free, and operational according to API 650-620 standards. Key steps include pre-commissioning, aspect hydrostatic testing, cleaning, venting, verification, and gradual product introduction, ensuring the mechanical, electrical, and safety system function before permanent service. طبعا this step is done by commissioning team, and then it is hand over to operation team in society. Pre-commissioning and inspection. First is safety review, verifying risk management plans and pre-startup safety review. Mechanical completion check. We have to check everything about construction, including welding, nozzle, painting, and insulation is complete per design, as per design. Inspection. Inspect internal surface for debris and verifying that the sump of clean along with the full pipe spill bucket. Electrical safety test, earthing continuity, and functional check all instrumentation, level gauge, alarm system, and everything. Testing and calibration also. Hydrostatic test, fill the tanks with water to detect leak, verifying structural integrity, and check for foundation settlement. This is very important, the foundation settlement, because we have to check the foundation with the loading of tanks, yani tank full with water. Pressure testing also, test venting system, pressure vacuum valve, and emergency relief valves. Calibration performs strapping or electronic calibration to determine the tank's exact volume to level ratio. Cleaning and preparation. Drying, remove all water thoroughly dry to the internal surface to prevent contamination of the product. Cleaning, remove any remaining construction material, debris, or rust. Final internal inspection. Perform a final inspection to confirm cleanliness. Startup and product loading. Initial product filling. Slowly fill the tanks with a small amount of the intended product to perform 100% check of all valve, seal, and pump. Monitoring. Monitor the leaks, vibration, and the proper functionality of the venting system. Performance check, verifying the pump start-stop sequence, standby functionality, and overall operation at operating temperature and pressure. Handover, finally, acceptance of all systems to the operation team. This is done by commissioning team and then hand over to operation team in society. Essential safety measure, إجراءات السلامة. Vent management, ensure that vents are not obstructed during the cleaning or filling process. Personnel must be wear appropriate personal protective equipment, PPE, during inspection and testing. Emergency procedure, establish procedure for immediate shutdown in case of leak or unexpected abnormalities. Oil field production tanks. Tank type, operation including uh, reception, treatment, storage, distribution of hydrocarbon across the upstream, midstream, and downstream. This is the activities of upstream. First, upstream. In the upstream, the first step, the product is collecting in a three-phase separator. Many or multiple steam three-phase separator, and it's the same procedure which is done for tank. It is done to separator because separator is vessel like tank in operation procedure to check everything, and they receive the after checking, after purging, after receive the product which is come from the well, and then sent to gathering station. From gathering station, also then sent to product tanks reception. Then if it is stored in the reception tanks, and then treating or maybe mixing to make it final product for storage, and then during storage, after that all these and the tank is full, then monitor by field operator, monitoring the level and agitation and settlement, agitation, and then sampling procedure, and then pumping to end user. Primary aeration functions: separation and treatment, stabilization. Storage tank allow fluid to settle with the pressure drop causing dissolved gases to flush. ايضا هنا بالسبريتر نخلي الغازز كلها تطلع لانه حتى يكون ستيبل برودكت، وهذا الغاز طبعا يروح to gas processing, and then the crude oil is collected to the storage tanks. Then blending and product conditioning. Blending طبعا نفوط مختلفة, different crude oil specification. It mixed together to make the end product. Inventory management. Management in the tanks, as I told you, gauging and sampling and draining between time to time, because all the water is settled down. With time, you have to drainage to avoid any corrosion. Then pumping to the end user or for export. Standard aeration procedure: commissioning, first commissioning, then receiving and loading, routine monitoring, and maintenance. Normal operation procedure: level monitoring, continuous monitoring tank level using gauging system to avoid overfill of linked automatic shutdown valves. طبعا هنا already the crude oil tanks is floating roof tanks. Receipt and transfer: line up appropriate valve, monitor flow rate, and ensure the tanks is grounded, verifying product compatibility. Water draining: periodically drain free water tank bottom from the sump to prevent corrosion and freeze ups. Vapor management: manage blanketing gases, nitrogen or fixed roof tanks to prevent oxygen increase and maintain pressure. Blanketing gassing only for fixed roof tanks. Fixed roof tanks is only used for heavy oil if it is not volatile. But the volatile product is floating roof tanks, so not need blanketing gases, but only because the roof is movable. Temperature monitoring: ensure crude oil temperature are maintained, particularly for high viscosity product using heating coil. If the viscosity is high, we use heating coil inside the tank. This is the tank area. See, this is for crude oil tank area. There is floating roof tanks and there is fixed roof tanks. We come now to refinery. Refinery, we have different tanks, because we have raw material, we have intermediate product, and we have final product. For the raw material in refinery is crude oil. Type is floating roof. We use floating roof in refinery for crude oil. Number of tanks for any refinery, at least 3 tanks. Why 3 tanks? Because one for receiving, one for settling, and one for operation. And then change between 1 to 1. The receiving is then set to settle down, and then the settling tanks is sent to operation, and then the operation make to receiving. The operation of tanks is a preparation for a process setup. يعني make line up to the line and then receive the product. يعني after commissioning, this is after commissioning. I speak after commissioning. يعني the tank is done, the testing is done for everything, and then now by operator, not by commissioning team, by operator. So receive the product and monitor the level. Not make the crude oil is overfilled, because this is a floating roof and it is dangerous to the terrace level. And then after receive the quantity to height to leave at least 1 meter height empty in the top, and then send the product to the other tanks and close the inlet of the first tank, which is for receiving, and make the second tank for receiving, and the first tank leave it for at least 10 hours for settle down. Then after settle down, we make a drainage to drain or to remove the water which is settled down in the bottom of the tanks. Then make agitation, and after agitation take the sample. طبعا sample is for يعني 3 sample from the top and middle and the bottom of the tanks. After sampling, you have to arrange with the operation team in the station unit and pumping the crude oil to the unit. The second one is also received about 10 hours or maybe less or more, but after filling also leave it out for settling, and then open the valve, inlet valve for the third tanks and close. See, everywhere in the tank farm you have to open before close. So open the inlet of the crude oil number 3, tank number 3, and close the inlet of the number 2 tanks. Then number 3 now become receiving and receive the crude oil, and number 2 is for settle down after 10 minutes, some procedure after settling for 10 hours, make it rain, and then start the mixer for agitation, and then take the sample always, and then change with the number 1 after number 1 become empty, and then also this is change this is the change over of the tanks. When you change over from number 1 to number 2, also you have to طبعا inlet valve for number 1 is closed, only outlet is open. Then you have to open the outlet of the number 2 because it is closed, and then to send the product to CDU, and then close the outlet valve of number 1. The step of operation, tank preparation step, first settling, after settling make drainage, after drainage measuring the level of the tank, measuring not only level, also you have to take the temperature at the same time, and then agitation by mixer, take sample, and then line up the tanks. This is the step of operation. Then we have another type of tanks. It is intermediate product tanks. Intermediate product from CDU in refinery, we have LPG, we have liquefied petroleum gas, and we have naphtha, light naphtha, heavy naphtha, kerosene, and like gas oil, heavy gas oil, and there is long residue. All these need different type of tanks: fixed roof tanks and floating roof tank. Floating roof tanks used to for light naphtha and heavy naphtha. The other tanks, kerosene, light gas oil, heavy gas oil, long residue, use fixed roof tanks. The number of each product, that is depend on the capacity of the unit, maybe 1 tanks, maybe 2 tanks, but at least 2 tanks to change over between one and the other one it is, and maybe if this is emergency cases, we can use the other tanks. Changeover also from that one tank to other tanks, it is already the same procedure which we follow for crude oil. We have to open before close. And also we can transfer from one tank to other tanks by gravity if we not need to use the pumps by gravity, but يعني till reach the same level in the other tanks. And we call this gravity transfer. This is the scheme for the refinery unit. So this is the distillation column. From the heavy distillation column we can get light naphtha, طبعا LPG first, then light naphtha, heavy naphtha, kerosene, diesel, which is the light gas oil and heavy gas oil, and then we have heavy oil or long residue. So long residue either sent direct to vacuum distillation unit if there is a vacuum distillation unit. If there is no vacuum distillation unit in refinery, sent direct to the final product, long residue. But the other products need another treatment, so it's sent light naphtha and heavy naphtha. Light naphtha sent to isomerization unit, يعني to the intermediate product tanks, then to isomerization, and heavy naphtha sent to reformer unit from the tanks also, or direct from unit, and kerosene also sent to intermediate tanks, and then to Mirox unit for or the hydrogenation, hydrodesulfurization unit, also diesel sent to hydrodesulfurization unit, and then we can get the final product. The final product we use also these tanks. So spherical tanks for LPG, spherical, it is not appear here. So the other type of tanks, يعني we have reformate, we have isomerate first. Isomerate need floating roof tanks. Reformate also floating tanks, and kerosene or jet fuel. After making jet fuel, it is used. We can use either floating or fixed roof tanks, and diesel is fixed roof tanks. For long residue or heavy oil is by floating, need fixed roof tanks and equipped with heater, internal heater. So the operation of these tanks same as in the product tanks. So we can, after filling the tanks, need to monitoring the level, and then also if there is water we have to make it drain, and there also agitation, and line up to the final user either for blending in case of isomerate and reformate. This is sent to blending to make kerosene, to make vehicle fuel, to the blender, and from blender to the final product, also to the another final product which is called mogas or benzene or vehicle fuel tank. Also it is floating roof tanks. For jet fuel also, after other we can line up and send it to either to loading arm or bumping to pipeline. Diesel also, after the hydrodesulfurization, it is free sulfur diesel. In the same tanks, we can also use it in one tank or two tanks, and then line up and pumping it to either line, pipeline, or to loading arm. We have also in each refinery there is slope tanks. Slope tanks, at least we have two tanks, one for dry slope and one for wet slope. The slope, the product which is off specification, we call it slope. And this is produced when during a startup and during shutdown, emergency shutdown or normal shutdown, because the specification is not matching the requirement. So it's sent to, so see this all line from all unit is come to the slope tanks. So this is our specification. Tanks, we use it either also floating tank, always floating tank, because this is volatile, because this product come from naphtha stream or heavy naphtha stream, or from kerosene, or from diesel, or from the circulation units, distillation unit overall. So this slope tanks يعني collect this product and then send to crude oil to redistillate again. This is for dry slope tank. Wet slope tanks used to slope or product which contain water, especially from the wastewater treatment, because water treatment receive the drain from crude oil tank from another tank, so it contain oil. This oil, after skimming يعني by API unit, is sent to slope tanks, and then from slope tank after settling and make it draining to remove water, settle water, and then sent to crude oil tanks also, but by dosage يعني not يعني small dosage, but to not affect the specification of crude oil. So this is the diagram. Show this is the crude oil tanks, raw tanks. This is distillation unit, and this is the intermediate product tanks, and then this is the final product tank. And this is also indicate the final initial product raw material, and then intermediate, and then the final product tank. Till this point, our video for this lecture is ended. Hope to see you in the next video, and thank you very much for follow up and listening. Thank you.